This tornado was a monster, and it was vicious, and it did not discriminate in its destruction across our city. And growing up here, you couldn't see from one side of town to the other. And to see a 6-mile path, a mile wide of your city gone, to have hundreds of people who are walking in the middle of the street, many of them bleeding, making their way to the hospital, the enormity of this begins to hit you. I knew clearly that this is something you can't walk alone. Not one person, not one government can handle this. 5:30, when I pulled the IC team together for my first briefing, I told them how we respond to this will dictate how we recover as a community. And as long as we were coordinated and we were calm and we were compassionate, we would make it through this terrible crisis here in Tuscaloosa. And the IC structure gives that because everyone's in one room. The police chief, the fire chief, the TDOT director, environmental services director. Their chain of commands are working up into that room, and then it's coming back down. And ultimately, as mayor, I'm in there as well, making sure that the needs of the entire city are being met. Within the first 5 minutes after the tornado had left the city of Tuscaloosa, we realized that our Curry facility was destroyed, which housed our EMA, Facilities Maintenance, and Environmental Services Department. Over 100 of our vehicles, garbage trucks, trash fleet destroyed. Our main communication tower was destroyed. A police precinct was destroyed. A fire station was destroyed. Our sewer treatment plant was damaged and almost rendered inoperable. And if we wouldn't have gone through this training, it would have been a disjointed effort. And what I mean by that is this. If we wouldn't have gone through Emmitsburg, we'd have had PD doing their own thing, fire and rescue doing their own thing, environmental services doing their own thing. The IC immediately begins resource allocation. For example, we had no environmental services department. It was gone. We had more than 100 employees who literally had nothing to do. We lost water pressure in East Tuscaloosa. All of this is coming through the incident command. So immediately incident command says, those 100 employees who don't have anything to do today, they're going to go out and walk water lines with grid maps, and at every leak, we're going to stop and then call in a crew to fix that leak. 8 times a year, we host Alabama football, which basically takes the population of our city from 100,000 to 250,000. And since 9/11, we knew that we needed to improve our homeland security methods. We also knew that if there was an event during an Alabama game day, it would tax our resources. So we thought this training would be a good way to go from a desktop exercise to really get into the nuts and bolts of handling a disaster. And knowing that we're also in Tornado Alley for the South, we thought that this would also sharpen our skills in those responses. We have become the model of how you respond to a disaster. And it all started with the structure. If you don't have command and control, then you cannot respond in a disaster. You can't fly by the seat of your pants. Clearly, in the last few weeks, we've demonstrated that training paid huge dividends.